Welcome back, everyone, to the Small Business Revolution podcast. Of course, as always, I'm your host, Kyle, with my co-host, my dad, and business partner, Josh. How you doing today, Dad?
Doing pretty good. Hey, everybody. Hope everyone's having an amazing day. I'm super excited about today's podcast because I'm not going to be the one doing most of the talking.
Yeah, that's right. Today we're gonna be talking about tools. Any tools really help your small business. We've talked about them a little bit, if they've really corresponded with our last few topics. But this time, we're really gonna be diving into all the tools that we use in certain areas of our business to hopefully give you some ground to stand on and a platform to really launch off from. For anything that you need, small business tool wise. And these are the ones we use. There are many, many, many more out there, but these are the ones we use that we find the most helpful.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to throw a couple of quick disclaimers out there, right? We're going to talk openly about the stuff that we use. By no means are we saying it's the best. It's just this is what we use right now, and it works for us right now as we evolve and grow. Just like before, things have changed, and now this is what we use. And then in 3 months or 6 months or next week, we could be doing something different, right? But everything is just a launching point to get to the next place in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to share with you what we're doing and how we do it exactly so that, well, not necessarily exactly, but we'll go through everything. We don't want to be on it for 2 hours, but we're going to go through and show you how we do things and stuff like that because we want to give you a really good, solid starting point and some semblance of, okay, that makes sense. Now I understand this. Now let me figure out which tool like this is going to make the most sense for my business, right? I just want to throw that out there for people because I don't want people like, oh, I got to do it exactly like them. Like you can, but you don't have to. And always be looking for the next better tool because new tools are coming out legitimately every day.
Yeah. No, 100%. You're 100% right. And on top of that, like this is probably gonna be something, this topic that we touch on every few months or so, just because we've changed so many tools we've already used, like you said. Like it's just constantly growing, constantly changing, constantly
Yeah.
finding something that's gonna work a little bit better. So 100%.
Yeah, you know what? Just for everyone too, anytime a hot new tool comes out that we find and we use and we like, we're gonna do like a little mini video on it together. Either myself or Kyle or something like that. Kind of going through it, showing people like, hey guys, this is a really cool tool. Check this out. What do you think? Kyle, what do you think about that? You want
Yeah,
to put
no, for sure.
we'll make a note and we'll start doing that. Um,
Hmm.
I think it makes sense. So I think it'll bring a lot of value to people to do
Yeah.
that.
No, I mean, especially if it's new and hot, there's not too many videos out there yet, and that's one of the big issues when you're trying to find tools especially learning how to use them. If they're new, there's not a lot of stuff out there yet about that said tool. So it's definitely
Yeah.
challenging to find that with a brand new tool. And I mean, so especially with social media is constantly evolving, constantly changing. There's so many new facets you can use with it. So many new tools within every social media app is different, and they're constantly
Yeah.
pumping out new stuff. I think last podcast I said something about how they're tinkering around with putting you can put a video in the comments of Instagram posts and stuff like that. It's constantly growing, constantly changing. So yeah, any new tools that we find that we feel like will be useful for you to have, we'll definitely do that 100%.
Yeah, we should start a little thing called like how we do it and just start making videos on everything for
Mm-hmm.
people. And then as we grow, we can have a little library for people. Let's
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
That'll be fun.
100%. Yeah, I mean that's perfect. I mean it'll just help. It will show people more what we're talking about as well. You know what I mean? Which I know that more people want to just not just see us, but see exactly what we're talking about, exactly how we do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So here's the deal. Check this out, right? Just to kind of the reason I said that is because it's going to be beneficial for all of our listeners and all small business people to understand that. But it'll also give us when we go to update our trainings and stuff, we're doing that anyways,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like you see what I mean? Like there's it like down the line deeper, there's always things to look at. Like, well, why would I take those extra steps now? Well, we'll take those extra steps now because down the line we can have employees go back and watch those videos if they get jammed up on something, or if we want them to spark an idea, or for us, or if when we go to rewrite our training manuals, we can go through that stuff and be like, oh, we forgot this and this and this, right? So um or like let's modify this and we can have an employee modify it based on the information in our videos.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Cool.
that makes a ton of sense. So stay on the lookout for that. We have some other cool ideas in the works as well. Always stay on the lookout for that kind of stuff. Some new stuff. Make sure to follow the socials. That's where we post a lot of our new ideas and concepts that we're coming up with. But yeah, we have a lot of new, fun, exciting stuff coming out on top of the podcast and on top of the deep dives. So make sure you just do keep an eye out for those. I don't want to spoil too much. I like having the surprise stuff, but make sure you keep your eyes out and eyes peeled for those.
Yeah, Kyle likes to
So
surprise people. Like, guess what, guys? I'm not here.
yeah, it was fun. It's fun. I like it. Throw people for a loop a little bit. So without further ado, let's just hop into some of the tools that we use. The first big thing, we broke it up into real categories. Like, oh, we have this category, that category. The first one is communication tools, and I feel like this one is pretty self-explanatory. It's just tools that you use to communicate with people. So obviously, our big one that we use for email, we always Gmail. Gmail, you can organize stuff easy. It's easy to send emails. You can add contacts in Gmail. It's super simple, and everyone has a Gmail basically now. There's very few people that don't have a Gmail anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of small businesses, like really small businesses, use an actual Gmail, like the name of their business at gmail.com. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, especially for really small, super tight niche industries where like that doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
At a certain, like, some people have it, some people don't. But either way, like if you decide to do like a suite where you like pay for stuff, like you have your like Josh at mydancelocker.com, right? It's actually really inexpensive through Google, and you get a lot for what you pay for. You get a ton of access to a tons of stuff, right? So it's a really great starter for that, but it can carry you deep into any size business, which is nice. It's fully scalable.
Yeah, no,
So
100%. And like you said, on top of that, and is Google is just they have a lot of extra stuff. Um, Google they make it very easy to use Gmail. I mean, Google's massive, so like there's a lot of extra fun stuff that you can do with Gmail that you can't do with any other big platform. But 100%, you're right. I mean, it's very inexpensive, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's not
yeah,
super difficult to use, which is also another benefit of it. A lot of other places are harder to use than Gmail. I know that when I was younger, I still have my AOL actually. It's still hooked up to some things, and it's just way more like it's harder to use AOL than it is Gmail. I don't know how to explain it, but especially even like the apps on my phone, like the AOL app and the Gmail app, completely different. It's way harder to like go in and move stuff and do things in AOL than it is Gmail. But that's a big communication tool we use for when we're emailing. And then for when we want to have meetings, it's pretty standard stuff. I mean, COVID really helped that side of it really launch a lot with the whole meetings over a call. So then there's a lot of good platforms that you can use. There's like Zoom, Google Meet, which I believe is what we use. Correct, Google Meet. Yeah, Google Meet.
yeah.
I was blanking on it.
It depends on what people like, but Google Meet is so easy. Even people that have never used it before like it. So um,
Yeah,
you don't got to install and do a bunch of crap to use it. It's really
exactly.
nice.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
that's the
Zoom.
thing. It's ease of use is the biggest thing, right? Because I'm I don't like delays. I am the most when it comes to stuff, I am very impatient. I'm like, I want it done. I want to do it now. I don't want to have to click 87 things to get to the thing. So I'm like, screw this. If I gotta go click, I'm like, nope, delete. I just go right over to a different one and try that one. I don't mess
Yeah.
around because time is valuable. You guys will hear me say this all the time. Every second counts. When you're working, every second counts, right? There is
Mhm.
no, well, let me pull out my phone and play a video game or go on social media. I do that. I go on social media all the time during the day. Guess what I'm doing? I'm working. I'm messaging people. I don't do anything. I'm not even signed into my personal accounts. You know what I mean? Like it just that has no value to me really. The people that want to get a hold of me can get a hold of me, right?
Yeah.
So, um, it's just it's during the day and during work time. It's like business, business, business. And you
Mhm.
want to make sure that you have a really good set of tools that you're going to be using that make it easy and smooth. In the end, you want to make it so you can be fast and efficient and effective and not make mistakes, right? That's my drive every single day, right?
Mhm.
Is to make that happen for me and every employee that I have, to make sure that they're empowered with the best tools possible to make their life easy. I have employees. My employees are I look at them like they're my bosses. My job is to make sure that they have everything they need, right?
Yep.
Because otherwise, why should I even pay them?
Yeah.
Or
100%.
sorry, why should we even pay them? My bad.
Yeah.
But like the point is, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So tools, marketing tools are really important. You want, especially when you look at all the tools, people are like, oh, okay, business tools. It's business tools, but there's marketing tools, and then there's social tools, which technically is a marketing tool, but you got to look at it different, right?
Mhm.
Because it's its own beast. Then you have, financial management tools. You have CRMs or customer relationship management tools, um, e-commerce tools, and then product and time management tools. Like, these are all productivity and time management tools. These are all really important topics that we really are going to hit on today, that bring a lot of value. I'll call it brings a lot of annoying value, because these things for me, I'm like, that's the way I work and my brain works, which is why I have a Kyle and I have an accountant and I have a this and I have a that,
Yeah.
because that's how my brain works. I understand money, but and I'm really good with all this stuff, but the technicalities of it, I'm like, dude, I just can't. I have a difficult time.
Mhm.
Kyle's my business partner. He doesn't have a difficult time with certain things. So he takes that over and I do the stuff I'm good at and I shine with, right?
Mhm.
Which is why Kyle's gonna be doing a lot of talking. So I had to get all my talking in first. No, but really though, it's that kind of thing, right? So let's talk about what are some of the let's do this, Kyle. I'm gonna talk to you like I don't know what the hell's going on, because sometimes I don't. Right? So
Yeah.
what marketing tools are we using right now? Not social, like actual like marketing tools. We made a pretty big change. We don't necessarily have to get into the name of the company we're using. I don't know if that's weird for people or not.
Yeah.
Because but we work with a company that is how you could get into it. I don't.
Yeah. So we work with a company that really helped us change a lot of our marketing focus on our website. So now we have a lot of pop-up ads that will pop up on our website. Be like, hey, if you're here on our website, check it out. And a lot of other like just boxes, like simple boxes, some good email stuff to send out to people. Really just kind of overhaul our whole marketing stuff. As
Branding
much
and
as we
yeah.
know, yeah, as much as we know about marketing, we're not that's not what we're best at. You know what I mean? Like, we're very good at other things, and marketing is something we're both good at, but we're not great at. So we knew that we
Well,
were going to need help, so we went to a company.
I want to interrupt you real quick.
Hmm.
I'm good at marketing, right? 100%.
Hmm.
You person listening to this. Let's just assume you're way better at marketing than me. Let's assume you're like like you've been in a marketing firm forever and you know your shit in and out.
Hmm.
You're the man, you're the woman. You got to figure it out, right? Guess what? The company that we're working with, they have 300 people that are just as good, if not better than you,
Yeah.
right? And for what we're paying them, actually talked about this in the last video a little bit conceptually.
Hmm.
What we're paying them, they're fully managing stuff for us because it's our website. They helped us tie up our branding voice, right?
Yep.
And then they helped us come up with a for the next quarter we're going to do some branding stuff across on our website, but across everywhere, social medias, things like that. You guys will start seeing some of that stuff, right? Um, they really helped us with that, which is going to tie into all of our marketing, right?
Hmm.
And then we take those pieces of that, and then we're going to turn that into like spend marketing, and then we're going to be doing things on like Google AdWords and all kinds of stuff. But they're going to manage it all for us for way. We're going to have a team of 300 people, basically the brains of 300 people, setting the stuff up and managing it for us, right? For way less than it would cost me per week to hire an employee to do it. That even if that is just okay, right? Like if I paid someone what they're worth and they're really good at it, like it would be astronomically higher than dealing with this company,
Yeah.
right? And we'll still get just as good, if not a better result from this company because they have a team of people. It's not one person trying to cram it all into 40 hours. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there's a lot of benefits. There's lots and lots of ways to look at it. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there
Oh
real
yeah,
quick.
no, you're good. And a lot of our not really struggles with marketing, but marketing isn't always number one on our priority list. We have a lot of other shit that is always kind of ends up hopping ahead of marketing. So we don't really have time a lot of the time to be like to focus on that. We do what we have to. Like social media marketing is different. We always make sure we're on top of that. But like marketing on the website, I guess, and marketing that way isn't always our number one main priority because we have a lot of other big shit going on the back end on our end. So bringing on someone to do that and delegating them to do that really helped us out because now we don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? Like we do, but not as on a as deep level to like, all right, we really need to sit down and figure this shit out, or else we're gonna really struggle here.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like what you're trying to say is, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you're trying to
Mhm.
say is the free unpaid advertising we handle ourselves and we dive in super hard and we make sure
Mhm.
that shit is done and it's
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
we're on analytics, we're dive in, we make adjustments and changes.
Hmm.
But when it comes to paid marketing and branding, that stuff we delegate out to another company,
Yeah.
right? Because we already do it for socials. Here's the thing, social marketing and paid marketing are two very different beasts. Same end
Hmm.
result. They require very different types of energy, right? So we are in complete charge of our creative and the messages going out on socials. That's really important to us. And we play around, we try different things, we have analytics and this and that. Like we have that down and we're growing pretty steadily, right?
Hmm.
So we're okay with that. We like being in charge of that. But the paid stuff, you know what? We're throwing real money around, right? On top of everything else, we're throwing actual dollars around, right? It's not like if you do something on and it's free and it doesn't hit, it's like, well, okay,
Yeah. Whatever.
it didn't work. It's not gonna piss people off. They'll see it. They just might not interact with it, right? They're
Mhm.
like, okay, that one didn't hit, but this one did. So you do more of that,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. With paid advertising, it's a little bit more painful. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when I say a little bit, I mean that shit can hurt, right?
Hmm.
So why mess around and try to do it yourself, even if you know what you're doing, but you're limited on time, you're struggling on time. It means you're going to make bad decisions in different areas, right? So you have to know when and where to cut the string, and when and where to delegate things out.
100%.
And when it came to marketing, we want to be in complete control, right? So we did that with the free stuff because we're like, whatever, we can play around, do whatever we want. It's not like we're wasting thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars or anything like that. And then we got on
Yeah.
the paid side, and we do the same thing. We found a company that we could work with that understands us, which is why I don't want to talk about their name. They
Hmm.
understand us. That's why we went with them. The most important thing is, do they understand you? Do they understand what you want? Can they provide everything that you need? Is it a reasonable price? And do you really gel with the people that you're working with at that company, right?
Yeah.
If all those things align, then as far as I'm concerned, if I can afford it, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
nickel and dime them to death because it's about the relationship. Just like with our customer B2B side, it's relationships. It's not, and our B2C side, it's relationships. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
about the
No.
thing. It's not about selling. We're not Walmart. Small businesses are not Walmart. We're not selling the widget for like 2 cents less than the other local grocery stores or the local electronic stores. Trying
Mhm.
to be, you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
all in one house. We're all under one roof. Everything all enclosed in one house, kind of like a Walmart. With
Yeah.
in what we do, which is why I made that
Hmm.
distinction. Why I made that comparison. But sorry,
Yeah.
went off on that
No,
tangent, but I thought it was important.
so obviously we talked about the big difference between marketing and social media tools and how they're different, and we have a whole podcast on that. Go back and check that out if you want the more of like the deep breakdown on why those are different. And I also touched on a lot of the tools that we use there. I'll restate them here, but you'll probably get more in depth if you go check out we got more in depth on that one last time. So make sure to go check out that podcast. But a lot of social tools we use, there's a lot of them inside of the apps itself, like TikTok, obviously, is huge. Posting videos that, I mean, with people's attention span nowadays, TikTok is massive. It could be massive for your company. I mean, since we started doing TikTok, we've been steadily growing on TikTok, and we're probably just gonna keep growing on TikTok. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Instagram and Facebook, there's a lot of different fun facets that you can do, and this is all the free stuff. I haven't even got into paid stuff yet. There's stories, which are like 24-hour posts that go up on your page for 24 hours. There's Reels, which is their TikTok alternative, and then just regular posting, which everyone knows and loves. Those all three are very valuable. Bring in a different group of people to see your stuff. And I mean, Reels posts, they pop up randomly on people's stuff. Everyone knows that. Stories are super valuable because if someone checks out your page and they're like, "Oh, that's cool," like as they're looking, and then like I know I always do this, and a lot of other people do too. They go on a page, they see someone has a story, they click, first thing they do, click the story to see what it is. Using stories is undervalued, and it's very important, and we use stories quite a bit. Whenever we have a new podcast out, I always make sure to put the podcast on our story, because new people that find our stuff, that's the first thing they're going to do is check our story. And Facebook is all the same stuff. They're very identical, just different people on each platform, like different age gaps on each platform. Threads and X are relatively new. Not X, but Threads is relatively new. It's basically X. There's a lot of business people on X. That's what we're finding. On Threads rather. The more we dive into Threads, the more we find that there's a lot of business people on there. I believe.
I think it's because all the business, because everyone knows Threads at some point is going to take off. It started to take off, then it fell off. But I've been spending some time on Threads, and it people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, I've been spending time on Threads, like for reals, like living in Threads a little bit. And there's a lot of small business owners, big business owners, but there's a lot of people, and everyone on Threads is like on Threads for the same reason. Like everyone wants to connect, they want to make connections, they want to build this up. Like they're excited about it because all the people that are on it feel like it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Meaning, like everything on Threads right now is highly undervalued, right? Like people on Threads want to connect with each other. That's all they want. They want to connect. They want to talk about specific things. All the convolution and all the BS stuff for people who don't like going on social media. All the frills and stuff that's there. That's like, wow, this is annoying. I don't want to watch about people's dinners and what other stupid stuff do people say? They're like, I don't want to see pictures of people's dinners. I don't want to see pictures of this or that. I don't care what they did yesterday morning for, right after breakfast. Right? This doesn't have any of that stuff right now. Right?
Yeah.
It's and people want to connect because the people on this platform want it to go because they like it, and they think when it does go, they want to be on the top. Right?
Yeah.
Who jumped on early? That's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing, I should say. But there's a ton of traffic on there, and no matter what type of business you're in, you can find a way to utilize it or jump on it a little bit. I'm not saying spend all, like that should be not your first place to go. You know what I mean? Like, like all the big dogs first: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn if you're B2B stuff, right? Like all that kind of stuff. So,
wow. Dude, I don't know if everyone else could see that, but if you're watching the video,
I think they did. I put my thumbs up and it did a thing. There it goes.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what the heck?
I didn't even know that happened. Yeah.
But yeah, we use a lot of other tools. The Meta Business Suite, I talked about that in an earlier podcast. That's just, it helps you post on Facebook and Instagram at the same time. We use a website called Metricool to post video content, but you can post static content to everything, basically. I'm pretty sure everything is on there. YouTube Shorts, everything. So we use that to just make it that way we don't have to go onto each individual platform and make a post every single day. That becomes tedious and a lot of work. There's a ton of other places like that. We just found Metricool, and we really like it. It's pretty easy to use.
But it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, here's the other thing. All these tools that we're talking, most of the tools we're talking about, you can use in if you either we use in a free version so we can talk to you guys about it. Plus, I'm cheap,
Mhm.
bro. Like I mean, no, really though. I mean, we're
Yeah.
investing money all the time.
Mhm.
Like, you got to do where you could do can do when you can do stuff in free. Metricool is it's really cool. Kyle found it, right. It's amazing. You get to do five social accounts, right, up to like a certain amount of posts a month for free on five social accounts.
Mhm.
So like we use that, and Kyle uses that in a combination of like some other stuff,
Yeah.
very specifically, but it's logical to make sense the way it's broken down,
Mhm.
right? But it's all free the way we have it set up. So like Kyle's gonna go in and do a video, which he's finding out right now, of like how he does this stuff, step like when he goes and does his social post, how he does it and sets it all up, right?
Yeah.
Like all that kind of stuff for people, just for our viewers and listeners, so you can get value. Because why not? I mean, we're using it. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of recording it a little bit and talking while we're doing it. It's not
Mhm.
that, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So maybe we'll do stuff like all these little videos are going to come out, like maybe like how we do what we do. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
think of a cool catchy name for it. We
yeah, but
normally do.
I think deeper dives for people are going to be very valuable, and not just in, hey, there's these free tools, but also how to use it. Because I know
Mhm.
for me, that part of it is overwhelming as a business owner, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Kyle and I are different. Kyle's my son. Obviously, we're very like, here, check it. Look at this is
that
my
thing is
favorite
old.
cup. I've had this since they were that little.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that thing is old, old.
yeah. Anyways, um, like we have a big age gap, right? So
Mhm.
different energy levels, different levels of understanding. Um, I don't really have the capacity in me to take the time to really dive into these social tools the right way. Um, and because it's frustrating in the beginning, right? I'm 45, going on 90. Like it's frustrating. You know what I mean? I go, this stupid internet thing. What do I do with this shit, right? Kyle's
Yeah.
like, you're the most technologically advanced person I personally know, but you can't use Instagram.
No, that's very, very true. No, that's
Like
100%.
I just figured out a $10,000 full stack issue that we were gonna have to pay someone like 10 G's to do. I figured out on my own and halfway done fixing it, right?
Yeah.
Like I can do that, but when it comes to the social stuff, I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I've never taken the time to understand it. But Kyle, I think you could maybe bridge the gap for a lot of people like me,
Yeah.
because a lot of small business owners, people starting businesses, they're more my age and less your age, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of
I
people I
think a
talk
lot of
to.
people that are going to watch this video, the people that are going
Yeah.
to watch this video are definitely my age, not yours, right? So
Yeah,
let's
a
do
lot
some
of.
how-to stuff for people.
Mhm.
Really take them through, like click this, click this, click this, click this. You know?
Yeah. No, 100%. A lot of people I talk to, in business or talk to about business, and they're like, and that I mean, the number one thing people always talk to me about is like, oh man, I want to start my own business, and
Yep.
I'm like, cool, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of steps, a lot of things you have to do. And then they always end up talking about social media because that's one of my biggest things that I do here right now is social media, and we always end up talking about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll help you. I mean, it's definitely without if you don't know what you're doing, and like in the beginning, it's challenging. Like it really is. It's hard, especially like I'm not the most creative person. Like I have some good creative ideas, but naturally in myself, I'm not a very creative-ish person. I don't think I'm that creative. I know you disagree, but I don't think I'm that creative.
You're I call BS. Kyle is like Kyle right now. He doesn't have the confidence level I have in himself yet.
Oh
He'll get
yeah,
there, guys. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I'll get in there, right? But Kyle is very creative. Kyle Kyle is not an artist. He's like, I can't draw, so I'm not creative. Like if I ask him to draw a picture, like it's a really bad stick drawing. You know what I mean? Like
hey,
really bad, like
oh,
squiggly lines and shit, right? No,
that's
I'm just playing. I'm just
that's
playing.
crazy. I had the best stick man drawings. That's wild.
Dude, but but you're super creative. That's the other thing a lot of people don't understand when it comes to being creative and marketing, yada yada yada, right? It's like so many people are creative. It doesn't mean that you can visualize like an ad in your head. That's not how it works for creative people either. like sometimes I like go and I get this idea and it's like a vivid picture in my mind and I can see it. And otherwise, most of the time, I just get a little idea and it sparks, and then I go do 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 do, and then
Yeah.
you got to figure out what it looks like. So
Hmm.
being creative is not. It's I look at being creative as thinking outside the box, not having it, staying away from that sheep like mentality, trying to follow what everyone else is doing, and really, um, just try to just relax outside of the box for a minute and see what happens, right? I'll like look at what other people do and go, oh, I want to be different. So I'll do something like this, but how can I make it be different and better and get a better message, the same information in a better way across, right? The process is different for everybody, but you're a very creative person and I promise everyone is, right? What have I been saying since day one to you since you completely took over socials, right? I don't even look at half the posts that you put out, bro. They're amazing. I don't like I look at them, but not like
Hmm.
I don't have time to do it as they come up. I don't even go
Yeah.
and like our own post or anything. So like I just don't have time for that. Right?
Hmm.
What I do, but your mom does. She looks at everyone, right?
Yeah. She likes
Um
literally every single post. Yeah.
yeah, no, she looks at them. Well, she likes to make sure what's there, right? So but yeah, at the end of the day, like I don't really look at it. And every now and then I'll go through like a whole bunch. And what do I say every time?
Like, yeah, these all look really great. They look
I'm like,
amazing.
they're
Yeah.
amazing, dude. This is great. I love the way you did this and this and this. I like how you did da 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 da. Like this is really cool. The way this messages is like what it really pushes off to
Yeah.
people. Excuse me, is way better than my original intent even. Or I never
Hmm.
would have thought of something like that, right? Like you're very creative. Don't put yourself in that hole. Everyone else, you're creative as well. Don't put yourself in that hole. If you can't figure out how to get creative, call me. Call Kyle. Message us. We'll talk. We'll figure some stuff out. We'll help you come up with ideas, and then we'll help you come up with some base ideas that you can go be creative on your own, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. It. This is all meant to be fun and things like that. Um, anyways, I'm gonna dive into the next topic,
Yeah. I
financial
think.
management tools.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
not
think
really
that.
gonna talk about. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about this too much, but I
Mhm.
do want to talk about it, right?
I was gonna say, and I think that
Finan-
these next two things really go together as well. That and the e-commerce tools. So
yeah,
if you want to tie them in, go for it.
yeah, for sure. Financial management tools. Yeah, they definitely tie in together. But here's the deal. I will talk about it in this way. Financial management tools are crucial to any business, right? Because if the money's not right, you're screwed. But there's a lot of combinations for a lot of people that make sense and don't make sense. If you're a bad financial person, get an accountant. I don't care how much it costs, get an accountant, right? It doesn't cost that much money. Like hire a service. That's what we do. You know what I mean? Like it's because you got to make sure everything is straight, right? When it comes to managing sales and day to day, there's a lot of different things in place, a lot of different systems in place that you can do to manage that for yourself. It depends on what platform you're using, like e-commerce tools. Part of e-commerce tools is the platform you're using. We use Shopify, right?
Mhm.
There's different management tools for that and managing sales, and there's a lot of different options within it, right? You could go something really basic, like some of the like QuickBooks, or you could
Mhm.
go something super hyper specific. Either way, you need tools so that you can work with all, get your money stuff set. But like I use tools that my accountant knows what they are and has access to, and we use those tools, and then they have access to that stuff whenever they need it, and they just say, "Hey, you got to pay this bill of X amount of dollars," and I'm like, "Thank you very much, I appreciate you." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then I pay the bill and cut them a check, like,
Yeah.
and cut them a check, and
Mhm.
that's it, right? But you just have to. It's like it's just like finding a marketing company. You just got to take the time to figure out what makes sense for you. And if you're starting at ground zero and or if you're at a place and you're like, I have no idea, then you need to stop and go do something like QuickBooks immediately. That's all encompassing. And I say QuickBooks is hard to understand, but everyone knows it,
Yeah.
right? Like it can be difficult. Use YouTube, use whatever to get information, but it can be difficult. But there's a lot of financial tools out there that make it not difficult, right?
Mhm.
Find one, play around. They all give you trials, play around, test them. It's going to take time and it's going to be frustrating, but it's better than getting audited and getting hit with $150,000 worth of fines.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's vital. Yeah, it's vital.
um, right? Well, it literally like, I know a lot of, like right now, I know a lot of small business owners that if they got audited or they got hit by the government and got a $10,000 fine, they would literally be out of business. I know more
Yeah.
than a handful of, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like when I say your money has to be straight, like your money has to be straight, right?
Yeah.
Because it will come back to haunt you at some point.
Hmm.
Um, e-commerce tools is the same kind of realm. Like you really got to find the thing that works best for you, right from the platform all the way down. I'm a strong, strong believer. I like Shopify. It has limitations, deep, deep, deep level limitations that make our life difficult. But our business model is very different, and Shopify doesn't like our business model. I talked about that
Yeah.
before. But but at the end of the day, I will jump up and down with the Shopify flag. And I'm not one of their people that recommends it, makes money off it. I don't care about any of that shit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, but I'll be a person that says Shopify is amazing because they are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
They
I
really
mean,
truly are.
they
There's
have a
some
lot of
things I
limit.
don't like, but
Yeah.
that's
I mean, they
everywhere
also,
you go. I've
yeah.
tested tons of them. And the things I don't like about the other ones are way, way worse than the stuff about Shopify.
Yeah, I mean, Shopify has a lot of limitations, but they also have a lot of things that set them apart from everyone else. Like they have a
Right.
lot
They're
of analytical stuff that's very different than everyone else, which I
yeah.
love. I love that about Shopify, like breaking down sales that you have down to like any possible way you want to break down a sale. They have that option for you to be able to use. I mean, it's then
And
there's
it's
a
easy.
yeah, it's easy to understand. Exactly,
It's
that's another
click,
big thing.
click, click. And if you don't know
Hmm.
where it is, you say to the little AI chat, you go, how do I do this? And it's like, click here, 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 here. It's really easy, right?
Hmm.
That's why I like it, ease of use. Even now, deep level, we've been doing this for a long time.
Hmm.
Um, I still like shop even with the limitations. The limitations are not as big and broad,
Yeah.
or as cumbersome as a lot of their competitors,
Hmm.
right? You don't need to know code, you don't need to know anything. It's really easy. So, but at the end of the day, start there and go from there. Everyone has free stuff, so you could try it.
Yeah.
I literally set up like 15 different platforms when I built this business. I tried every platform. I tried like from WooCommerce all the way. It's just crazy. I tried everybody at the time. I played around with some new ones recently. Um, and they still,
Yeah.
like the one I like, I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this one better than Shopify for this thing, and I like this other one better than Shopify for this thing because they actually they work with our business model a little bit better. But everything else is so bad. Like I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll keep dealing with my
Clearly.
issues. Hard pass, right? Because to do my business model the way I want to do it, we have it working on Shopify, but to do one of these other ones, we have to get our own server, we got to have a full stack developer, we got to have a this, we got to have a that. Dude, it's going to cost me like 5 grand a month to switch over and do this other thing. I'll just stay with Shopify. The most expensive plan they have, I think, is like a little over 2 grand a month, right? And then you don't, and but we don't need like $150,000 employee to run all this other stuff in the back end and
Yeah.
update,
Exactly.
maintain, and so there's a lot of things that go into it, right?
Hmm.
um, CRM tools, customer relation management tools, they're really kind of the same thing, right? There's a couple of big ones out there. You just have to play around and figure out what one you really want to use. I'll be honest with you, there's one out there called that I've been checking out. Hold on a second, let me just click on this link and I'll tell you. That if you're looking for a CRM, go check it out, right? If you're trying to figure out how to use CRMs and all this stuff, it's called Teamgate, TEAMGATE.com. Kyle could probably put a link to it in the thing, right?
I'll put a link for it in the description.
You can put a link to it? Okay. Cool. It's something to check out. It's free. They have a completely free plan that you could like go through, but it's a really good thing to it's not difficult to use. It's easy to learn on. It's just something I'm playing around with. I'm not even using it right now. I'm just playing around with it. Right? I'm
Yeah.
throwing that out there. I don't know how well it works, but they have a completely free plan that everybody can use and build your own CRM. And it's not like, well, for like 100 people or for 30 days, and it's completely free forever. They have additional services that cost more. So go
Yeah.
play around with it. Check it out. Just a thought. It's just an idea. Like I said, it's literally something I'm playing around with right now.
Yeah,
There's a
and
lot of CRM tools. You want to,
yeah,
it
like,
depends on what you need it for. See if you
yeah.
need it for B2B, if you need it just to keep track of this or that, whatever, whatever, whatever. If you need to go get leads and this and that, if you need to go get leads, B2B leads, then you want to make sure you have something that connects in with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and it has a tool that brings all the information from the people that you want to add in as a lead. You want to make sure it can automatically do that as opposed to like typing it all in. Hard
Yeah,
pass, right? So
exactly.
there's a lot of tools. They're not that expensive to get started. If you guys
Mhm.
wanted, if you need a CRM and you're not, or you think you want a CRM and you're not sure what way to go, start there. Start looking at like what I would say, look up what are the most popular CRMs out there and start with Salesforce and work your way down and
Yeah,
you will find a
and
solution. If you need
mhm.
help finding a solution, again, hit us up. But
Yeah, yeah.
um,
We've monkeyed around with a few of them.
yeah, and I mean, not to like go back to my history though. Take our business out of it and our experience
Mhm.
out of it.
Yeah.
I want everyone to remember, like, this is what I did for a living. I help
Yeah.
businesses get better and streamline
Mhm.
and fix their businesses, right? So definitely hit me up. I'm not like this super arrogant guy. I'm like, I got this shit figured out, blah blah blah. I like legitimately did that for 30 years. So
Yeah.
hit me up. You know what I mean? Like, but that's why I have a hard time being the guy being on social media because I'm always the guy like, okay, we need to do this thing. Here, Tim, John, Karen, you guys do this. You do this. You
Yeah.
do this. You know what I mean? I'm good at that. I'm good at figuring it out. Right.
Mhm.
And and I'm really good at that. So if you guys need me or Kyle, hit us up.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
productivity and time management is something I definitely struggle with. We talked about that the last podcast was time
Yeah. Go
management.
check it out.
Yeah, go check it out. Launched yesterday, I think. No,
Well,
today.
when we're recording this, it launched today. But
Oh,
when you're seeing
my
it,
bad.
it
I always
launched
forget about
yesterday.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, at the time of this recording, it launched today.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, um it's the same thing. Everyone's metrics are different for productivity, right?
Mhm.
Um, you just have to understand your business. There's tools for productivity to make sure people are being as productive as they can, but you have to set metrics and you have to set KPIs and you have to set stuff like that. Which is some of those things are more corporate than not, but if you want to be able to manage productivity the way you manage time and the way you manage other things, you have to have a lot of stuff in place. You have to know, you have to have, most importantly, what you really have to have is metrics, but they have to be real, honest metrics. Productivity, okay. My old boss used to say, this should only take 5 minutes to do. I'm like, no, this takes 7 minutes and 32 seconds to do. And he goes, this should only take you five. I'm like, based on what?
Yeah.
I'm like, because I've been doing this, I've been in charge of this department for this many years, and I've worked the time all the way down to this, right? And it was at like 10 or 11. Now it's down to this. I'm like, so what are you basing your information on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He goes, well, no, I just assumed. I'm like, look, 5 minutes. If I say, Kyle, this will only take you 5 minutes, how long is it going to take you? 3 to 15, right? Like if I tell Kyle it's only going to be a minute or two, he's like, okay, it should be less than 10.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement, right?
Mhm.
Because
No,
in our
100%.
mind, time works
Yeah.
differently in our mind than it does in real life, right?
Mhm.
And when a person, and so you're not, people need to remember, you're not the one doing the thing anymore, or maybe ever. But you have to get real, honest metrics, right?
Yeah.
I used to do this thing like 3 months ago. I did this thing. Now Kyle does it. And in a couple months, somebody else is going to be doing it and answering to Kyle this
Mhm.
one particular thing, right? When Kyle is measuring their metrics, he's not going to compare it to what I used to do or what he used to do. He's going to compare what they're doing to what he used to do most recently, right? And then come up with
Yeah.
metrics how to get that person to there. But you
100%.
need a solid standard that actually compare to. We use stopwatches when we're doing things. I'm not kidding.
Mm.
We use a stopwatch feature on our phone when we're doing things. We
Yeah.
go start and then do the thing. No interruptions. Stop. Mark the time. Right? Like that's the only way. Like processes, that's the best way to do it. You have to figure it out. Managing the time and all this stuff. you can only do it if you actually have a very clear understanding of how long everything takes, how many things get done in a day, blah 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 blah. So then you can start doing math and comparatively, taking things out and doing averages and figuring this and figuring that to really come up with a standard.
Yeah.
Right. But like, you can't do any of that if you don't have a standard.
100%.
Right. You can't be like, it's ridiculous for me to say, Kyle, will you do me a favor? Or XYZ employee, I own a business. XYZ employee, will you go clean up the stock room? It'll only take about 15 minutes. Right. But it takes them 25 or 30. And I walk back there and go, what the fuck you been doing back here? Blah, 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 blah. Right. Like, what? Dude, but in my mind, it should have only taken 15 minutes, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't know. When they go start taking care of this stuff, they might find another pile of stuff that I didn't see. And they're doing this and they're doing that. It comes down to trusting your employees, trusting the people that you hire to do the things you ask them to do, and trusting that they're going to follow through. Right?
100%.
Once you have to set up metrics and understand them, but you also can't go willy-nilly and be like, oh yeah, that should take you 15 minutes. And then hold them to it. You can't hold people to standards if there's no standard.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies do that. Right.
100%.
That's why I took the time to do that little thing right there at the end.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely, guys, keep an eye out for all the short videos coming out. I just put like 7 things on Kyle's plate. I can tell he's really happy about it. But that's why I love this, because I get to stick things to him, and he can't say no because he doesn't want to disappoint the viewers. But anyways, yeah, Kyle, do you have anything else? Any of these topics you want to hit back on that I kind of bulldozed through?
Not that I can really think of. I mean, you touched on the Shopify, and I think that was really well put together. And I mean, Shopify is just amazing. I mean, there's a lot of tools in Shopify that you can use, that you can really touch on. Productivity and time management. We use Calendly. That could also really help with your time management.
That's a really good, that's a really good tool. I think what we're gonna do, everyone, is like the big topics, like e-commerce tools. That's a big topic, right?
Yeah.
So this is like a general informational type post to get people to understand certain things and learn things. But I think we're gonna start working on doing a deeper dive into like e-commerce tools and some of these bigger topics, and we could talk about just that in like a full size format or whatever.
We're mostly doing a lot of general stuff right now. This is the beginning. We want people to really get their roots, and then we're going to dive into way deeper conversations later on. But this is more everything. I don't know. I'm sure people have noticed that every podcast that's really been released has been more general things. How you generally work your small business or your business, and to make it the most efficient. But we haven't really dove in on a lot of things yet. That's going to be coming though. I think we have a few general topics that we want to hit on still. Probably not that many though. I don't think there's that many more that we have on our list of topics that we want to hit before we start diving in headlong on some very specific things we want to talk about. So that's really exciting. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure to follow us on social medias. Small Business Revolution, and I believe the only one with underscore is Instagram. Instagram, Facebook, Threads, like we were just talking about. That one also has the underscore because it's connected to Instagram. TikTok, Small Business Revolution. Make sure to check out all of our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, and of course YouTube. And we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
See you guys later. Have a good one.